Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 90 of my story. And so she was like, I believe you, Bush. I believe you. I don't see you out there doing that. Well, y'all better get it together because they watching y'all. So, that was already a warning right there. Well, eventually, the shit would hit the fan. I'm called in one day across the street and I'm questioned. It was basic questions at first. How long have you been at the camp? Have you been in any trouble since you've been at the camp? What were you sentenced for? And just like basic things like that. Have I had any problems since I've been incarcerated? And then it got into the business of how do you like working on the base detail? And so I said, I liked it. It's a community out custody job. I enjoy being able to leave here and being trusted enough to go into the community. And they were just shaking their heads like yes and stuff. And then they wanted to know about a particular person. And they said, well, we know because everybody knows. And so we've already talked to multiple people. And I was just like, okay, yeah. I know. They was like, if I showed you a picture of somebody, would you be able to identify? And I said, depends on who the person is. So they slide a picture in front of me. The picture is a picture of the military guy, and it looks like it's a video visit picture. And he's in full uniform having his video visit with her. And so I was like, yeah. And at the time, I knew what his name was, but right now, I just don't remember his name. And so they're basically going over our day-to-day routine on the base. And so I'm basically saying, like, we ride around, we go to these different buildings all over the whole base within a week. And we pick up recyclables from them and we get them new bins, new whatever they need. And we go on about our merry way. And we do this for the entirety of the day, every single day. And so I left that meeting with them and they were calling other people. Well, it wasn't long. They called her name one day when I was getting ready to get in line to go and eat. And when they called her name, it was funny because we're grounded at this time. We're not allowed to go back to the base. And they're basically telling us, well, we're not letting y'all go back to the base until we let these people get PREA training because none of these people have had PREA training that y'all working with these contractors. So that was understandable. Well, the whole time there was a real investigation taking place, not just in a facility, but outside on the base. And the two corporates, let's say the girl that was my really good friend once upon a time and a guy that she's messing with. So they have all the evidence they need against her. For number one, I guess this guy miscalculated a lot of things, like sending her money in his name, like also talking to her over the phone with his phone number, and also doing video visits in his office uniform while he was on the base. And so they were very sloppy with this little affair that they were having. So she's taken across the street one day, and when she's taken, everybody's coming and they're like, hey, they came and got baby. She gone, she history and stuff. Now we're going to be able to go back to work. So I'm kind of optimistic about it too. I'm like, oh, well, if they took her, then probably we'll be able to go back to work. Well, that didn't happen. They took her, and from what I'm told from people who were in the shoe that ended up coming back to the camp in the days that followed, that she was escorted out of the facility as if she was the president of the United States. That all these people showed up in these black suits and stuff and escorted her to Bryan, Texas. So I don't know what the outcome of her situation was, but I just know that the camp officer kept talking about it, kept saying how the guy on the base was going to be in a lot of trouble. So me, basically, I want to know, like, what kind of trouble is he going to be in, and is she in any kind of trouble? And they were basically like, yeah, she's in trouble. We shipped her ass out of here because she didn't know how to act on the base. And the officer really had it out for her. He didn't like her at all. And so he was basically saying, like, they sent her ass away from here, and if they find out anybody else was doing that, they're going to get shipped out too. And so I was pretty much like, I don't think nobody else on the base was doing that. But in her defense, I felt like she was being punished for something that happened to her because this man was a married man, for number one. He was an authority figure. He knew that she was a prisoner. He knew that she was an inmate. And he knew that he didn't have the right to be communicating with her or having an inappropriate relationship with her. The BOP basically makes women who are victims out to be basically in the wrong most of the time. And her being shipped out, I can only imagine him probably keeping his job on the base or probably being told, oh, we're going to ship you out to another state to go and work. There's probably no consequences for him. Around this time, there are multiple women at FMC Carswell who have either become who have became pregnant for an officer, or who are, women who have been sexually abused or assaulted by an officer while they have been incarcerated at FMC Carswell. Well, around this time also, I'm no longer working at the base. The base, we lose our contract. They say, hey, we're not sending y'all out there no more. They're going to have to find somebody else to do the job. We're not letting y'all go back out there anymore. That's over. Whole contract lost and then canceled because of this incident. And it probably wasn't the first, second, third, or fourth time, but this was the time where I guess so much came out of the investigation that they decided that, hey, it's not worth sending any of us out there. So at this point, I'm looking for me a new employer. And I end up saying, hey, I'm going to go back to the kitchen. So I know around this time that I've been denied twice CARES Act. And the only thing that I could possibly leave prison early on now is First Step Act. And at this time, there's a lot of talk about First Step Acts, and there's a lot of talk around First Step Act at this time, and us possibly starting to get our credits. I'm hoping and praying that this is true. I have my family reaching out to Region, finding out, hey, one of these credits going to be calculated. My sister dated such and such. Will she receive the year? But